Hey, Poo Poo. Let's see. Okay. It's all set up. Let me get this light turned on. Wherever it's at. Sorry, I'm making a bunch of noise. How's it going? It's been a little bit. We are attempting a weird list here. This is Striking Gold. I actually think we want this in this matchup. And then we're gonna take out the legs, probably. Or no, we should take out the arms in this matchup. I think I have a wizard set up, just to be clear. Yeah. You get to see your new kitten today? Dude, that's pretty sweet. What kind of cat? A short-haired tabby. That's still exciting. Do you have like a name picked out or anything like that? Or are you still getting that figured out? We just scheduled... Oh, she's not here. I was gonna say we just scheduled a vet appointment for, I guess, both of ours. Sister wants to name it, but she needs to see him first.
She's on the
It's fair. Gotta figure it out. Yeah, she is in the window. Also, I'm pretty confident this is the Verdance that Aggro was playing yesterday. Hopefully, setting up for the E-Strike on this next turn plays well. Although we've been sitting on it for a moment here. It's been a while since we've done stream stuff. Wanted to jump on and play some games. Still trying to figure out what I want to do for Puffin right now. They're gonna tuck their arsenal. Okay. I don't know how well. Okay. I don't know how well they can convert a big hand, but we'll kind of have to wait and see. It's pretty good. Oh, they're gonna CNC me. I could block 6 and then just send E-Strike for 7, Arsenal to Cog. I kind of like that. Tempted to grab the Puffin stuff while it's still pennies. Honestly, kind of fair. I would be considering the same thing. I could also try and draw a card here and see what we draw into. Let's do that, actually. I wanna see what this hand can turn into if we play out this cog, because it's possible we can play the money where your mouth is. Do I want to crank it? Yes. Actually, no, because we don't have Tunic. But we could maybe save this. I was thinking this was Tunic turn. Okay, so we get Workshop. I think we maybe want to save this card for now. So the most effective thing I could do here would be this with go again, actually. Because the gun shoots for 3 right now. And I've been slowly learning how to sequence this properly. Man, they got a lot of D-reacts. I haven't played against Verdance in a little bit. But we're at least setting up a pretty solid, maybe bigger turn on the next turn by putting that in Arsenal. So we'll do that. We'll send 3. See if they're just trying to conserve life. No, they just got a billion defense reactions. They don't have Decompose right now, though, which is nice. So we know we're delaying their... we know we're still delaying them a little bit. I think Stonewall's kind of interesting in this matchup. Oh, and they're discarding a card to gain 2. Okay. I'll just lose 2. Specifically, Warmongers here is really annoying. Just because it means that we can't money. But we can play... Or no, they're not going to have anything. So we should AB 2 here. We can pitch here and here. Then the Warmongers can go off. I'm going to choose War. And then still just send the Conqueror. What's up, Drew? Watch on your drive home. Just get off work. I also just got off work. Figure this is still 7 damage. I do think Warmongers into me is pretty solid. I just don't know overall how I feel about it. God, they got so many block cards. So this is still 4, but we tuck a card. So we're not going to have a cog. Well, we could have one here. I'm just going to tell them that I'm thinking. So next turn cycle, I won't have a cog, but I would have money. If I double pitch into Conqueror, I could then money the gun. No, I want to money the Conqueror. Yeah, we'll just put this underneath. And then we're not going to block anything. Had to buy a few more copper cogs, only had 3 in your deck. I'm on 5 right now. Have I slipped through some cracks, dude? Honestly, Slippy's looking like crazy good right now. If they can block 11 here and they care about the gold that much, then they can have it. Yeah, it's a D-react. 2? Okay. They want the gold that bad. That's fine. Yeah, we'll just pass. There's no reason really to poly yet. We want Cloud City first. I'll take 6. So we can draw here, get the second action point. is pretty good, and we also get like a huge Cogworks dovetail here. So we're going to do this. Testing the 3 cards after Nat season, switched E-strikes for... I don't even know what that abbreviation is, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Mark of the Black Widow, okay. So we drew a cog, that's like a great arsenal target for this next turn. We're on 2 action points. I think I want to bait out them trying to block, so we're going to send 4 here with like pseudo go again, right? They've seen all 3 of their rootbound carapace at this point, I'm pretty sure. Just 2? That's interesting. So I think we keep this copper cog back. I'm questioning if I want to convert this one. Because to block 7, they would just have to shove the arms. But I can only really pump to 7 anyways. So I think we just do this. And we keep the gold back so that we can get the draw on the next turn. Still coping on E-Strike for right now. Dude, E-Strike is crazy good. I like E-Strike into any deck that can get an extra action point at this point. Okay, so this trigger happens, then we'll go here, give it go again, and then we shoot him for 2. Halfway decent turn there. They kind of preemptively threw out a block there. 7. So what's our turn? So we're on a Tunic turn. So we can draw a card, dovetail, we'd have 2 cogs in play, so we probably want to do this, because Palantir's here as well. I think it's that, and just take 6. I know I'm getting myself pretty low, but they have like nothing set up yet. It's fine, but Mark lets you grab a card from your opponent's hand, block with E-Strike. I kind of like keeping E-Strike still. This, like, what I've got on board currently, I can bait out some stuff with E-Strike. So, like, I'll play here first. Crank. Then play to Puffin. Kind of trying to keep Poly as long as I can. So the thought process here is I'm drawing an extra card. So E-Strike actually is just 5 go again in this hand. And then I can arsenal this dovetail for the following turn. Oh, that's even better. Or I can just send this for 4, this for 5 go again, then Aeronaut and eat their whole hand. Probably. See, the goal is we want them to kind of block with an equipment piece here, if we can get them to commit an equipment piece. And then now we just float Tunic into the next turn. But this is like a big turn for us here, because we're presenting 9 plus another 9, so we're presenting 18 on this turn. I mean, for the boat. I mean, I could do it that way and use the tunic on this turn. I don't know. They'd probably give me Gauntlet. Yeah. So, pump. Resolve the first one. I'm kind of tempted to not resolve the third one and not break my unicycle here. Because it forces them to de-react here. I'm going to pass on their thing here. And then now I unicycle to untap and then tap, and then now we just destroy the rootbound carapace. Yeah. I was watching Dando's, that plow under's fine. I was watching Dando's, if you destroy with the rootbound trigger, does it stop the decompose? I don't know. I don't think it does. Should wait with the tapping after the gauntlet resolved. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. Well, because it says next time, right? I should probably block here. I have a cog that's sticking around, so this into this is pretty good. And then I can just arsenal the copper cog. I do galvanize here. Save a little bit of life. And then now we're looking up to set, like, we're setting up a poly turn. I need to see, when this defends, opposing attacks with greater than its base, then opposing, okay. I think it would retroactively check, no? Or is it an after defense check? It's a Verdant's Hero text. It's 8 or more Earth cards and banished. They, whenever they gain life during their turn, they deal 1 to any opposing target. So, like, now might be the time to use Poly. Because they could shoot Poly. It's a good point. Sorry about the sneeze. Yeah, because then we crank here, check and see what we get. Strike Gold's pretty solid. Yeah, thank you. I like sending Strike Gold here. I think that's pretty solid. Because they've kept their whole hand. If they want to prevent me from getting a gold here and like setting up the following turn with a gold plus poly, they pretty much have to commit a block here. No? Okay. I'll take a gold. Which means they're probably killing poly on this next turn if I had to guess. Put this in Arsenal. Tree time. If it was, I mean, I think they would have played it. We're looking at 2 cogs on the next turn, assuming I don't block. So Aeronaut is like fine. Kind of like this combination here. I think I'm okay with going to. They still don't have anything really set up here, so going to 12 isn't that bad. This is first time you deal Arcane, gain 1. Yeah, so we'll do, I think the soup up, right? Yeah, the soup up. And now we have like an incredibly good turn. Let's crank this. We'll crank. Yeah, let's crank draw a card. Workshop for 3 cogs. Yeah, that's. I'm waiting to see what I get off the top to see if Palantir's playable or not, which it looks like it's not. But this is go again. So if I workshop, I float 3 cogs, I put a counter here and here, then I soup up into skimmer into dovetail. I don't think that this is playable unless I want to. I could do it that way. Yeah, let's try that. I don't know that I need to workshop here. I'm playing this 0 for 4 anyways, so I kind of want to see if they give me a card or not, and then we can kind of play out the rest of the turn this way. Needed to keep the blue for that line. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm thinking if I pitch, or if I use Tunic to Cogworks, then, okay, they're blocking early. I'm just going to tell them that I'm thinking for a second. So if I use the Tunic for Workshop, I make a cog, it doesn't draw me a new card, but I'd be at 3 cogs, then I would have to pitch both my cards for Palantir. They're going to 10 here, so Palantir's still not enough damage to get through. But if I send Skimmer to another 4, we potentially rip more cards from their hand. And I know that the dovetail isn't like crazy impressive here, because it would literally just be presenting 6, but I could also just give it go again. And right now they're in a spot where they're kind of forced into blocking, and I'm trying to keep my hand as long as I can. I don't think they can do 12 to me, but if they don't block this, then that's like really bad for them. So this is going to block 6. So all we want to do is just tap, and we'll give it go again. Because I definitely think we're in a good spot here. I don't think it is possible for them to deal. They have to block with Striders. It's unfortunate because I can't blow up the Striders this way, but it puts them down to 3. And like they don't really have much to go off of for this turn cycle. We're gonna have a soup up that's free. They're just gonna discard, gain 2, kill the poly. Okay, that's fine. Oh, okay, and then this is sent at me. I'm not gonna. So we have a free soup up. Yeah, I think we do it this way. It would be 4/4/6 if we had a cog, but no, no go again currently on the Sky Skimmer. Yeah, no gold. Yeah, they have the gold on their side. But we're running them through pretty much all their D-reacts, and it's smart that they sync bloat here, but I wonder what the rest of their hand looks like. I kind of just like sending CNC and seeing if, because they played so many D-reacts this game, I wouldn't be surprised if they were a little D-react heavy, and they have a hard time blocking into this, and they maybe have to use this. Yep. And then now we just float the Sky Skimmer into the following turn, where if we have like a copper cog, which we do. Yeah, it's fine. This is pretty fine. Like, we get some really, really good arcane prevention here. Oh, we left the mace cope. What do you mean by that? Oh, pummels. Pummels are in the deck. So what's fun here is we present 5, and they have to block this. If they don't block it, is it correct to give this go again, or is it present lethal? One, two, three, 4 D reacts. And then all 3 root bounds. So we're looking at 2 more D reacts at minimum. There are 26 cards left in deck. They're getting probably pretty close to pitch stack, so I think it should be go again, because it's probably that they have a D-react here. Yeah. My neighbor's fire alarm is going off. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. They really like setting off their fire alarm every day. Yeah, Pummel's still in the deck. I don't know how we haven't seen any. We'll probably draw like an entire handful of them. Because they should be... Or did I move them to the side? Oh, you know what? No, this list isn't on Pummel right now. This current list is not on Pummel. This current list is on whatchamacallit. It's on Money Where Your Mouth Is. Okay. We'll pitch the Lone Shark. This is a pretty bad hand for preventing arcane damage, but what does this do? As much as it sucks, it gives them 2 damage here. Watch K-Pop Demon Hunters. Dude. K-Pop Demon Hunters slaps. It's really fucking good. It's really good. And they cycle back in Burn Bear. So we could do here... I know that this is still kind of an off turn. Yeah, it sucks. Going to 6 here is, like, actually terrible. In order to prevent us from dying, I think it might be correct to draw a card. I think it might be correct to draw a card. Yeah. And then they just have to respond here. Okay, they don't. But having to play around Stormstriders right now is really fucking annoying. They're through, because they, yeah, I was say they should still have 1 Pulsing Aether. But I can't risk just dying to arcane damage, which is exactly what's happening right now. I think we're just screwed. Deck gains too much life for us to deal with it. I think the best thing we could do is send lethal. Drawing a card here doesn't really do much for us. And they're just going to respond here. Yeah, it's fine. Just kill me. Play the card. I'm waiting. What? They enabled chat. I'm just waiting to see if they're going to say anything. They probably didn't mean to do it. Unless they were just trying to, like, intentionally bait me. Why didn't you get to do the damage? I'm not sure. But it didn't let me choose the arcane. So I played this. They played Pulsing Aether Life. They selected life. It only gained them... Oh. It just healed. So they did send Pulsing Aether Life to kill me. I'll just concede it's fine. Yeah, so it bugged out. Yeah, they played the Pulsing Aether Life, they selected both, and it only gained them the life. So that was just what they were trying to explain. It's all good though. Hi Miko. She's screaming in the background. Yeah, they didn't wait for Stormstriders to resolve. Yeah, I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, though. I don't mind. Got that to 0 to 1. We'll try this again. So yeah, we are off of Pummel. Intent was clear. I don't think that player's new. I'm pretty sure they played aggro yesterday on the same, like the exact same verdance list. Guess we'll go first again. Press the wizard button. I think the deck composition worked well, and I actually don't mind playing this matchup again. So we'll try it one more time. Starting off with 14 damage seems pretty good, but I also kind of think that might be overkill. I like maybe just sending this and arsenaling a copper cog. I know that that's maybe seems weird because I know that we could send a lot on this first turn, but I don't want them to fill their graveyard. Who's my favorite in the trio? My personal favorite is God, I'm gonna blank on what her name is. The black-haired girl with the little pigtails. She's very cute. Man, they just draw a Pulsing Aether on the turn where I draw an all-red hand. Why are my opponents... Oh. Okay. I'm not gonna let you undo that. Yeah. If you want to kill my poly turn this first turn, then I'm just gonna let you do it. No takesies backsies. We'll double crank. Okay. I think we send... Man, this is weird setups right now. I kind of feel like just sending Conqueror again, just keeping the Copper Cog for late. I know I'm setting up... the black-haired one is Zoe. Yes, that is the one that I liked. Here. I'll F11. I like this one. If that helps. That is for sure who I am talking about. How do I have... Oh, I forgot that I have an extra action point. Because I double cranked. Just get to leak an extra 2 here. That's not bad. Zoe has a really cool weapon. That definitely plays into it a little bit. Warmongers. Warmongers is rude. What we can do, though... They're just gaining 2? Okay. We can E-Strike go again into CNC, which still feels pretty good. And we're just floating our Tunic into the following turn. Yeah, I think they're really going to want to. Man, that was from hand. That's so good for us. I think... See, I'm a big League player. I'm hoping that League kind of takes K-Pop Demon Hunters as an example of, like, what to do with, like, the future of KDA and all their, like, music theme stuff. Okay, Kitty Cat needs to stop moving around in the window. She's messing with... The lighting's getting all jacked up. I know that's silly to be concerned about. We can actually tip and set up E-Strike here. I want to Cog pitching the Sunken Treasure because they really haven't been attacking me a whole lot. We'll double crank. We don't have a Cog card in hand. Now we have a Cog card in hand, but now we also have 2 action points. So we could, instead of playing tip, we could E-Strike, draw a card, and then see what we draw into. Oh. Well, that sucks. Okay, I'm not counting that one. I'm gonna refund if anybody, Nobody predicted. It's alright. They just said GG's and left. Time for some assassination. If you want to play me, you can absolutely join in. Do you want to play me? I can leave. Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave this game for now. I'll let's go private. Spare the Valda. Here's a link in chat. We can see if I'm sideboarding correctly into Assassin or not. I'd like to go first. And then this cog should be in the deck. Let's look at that. There's part of me that thinks that the way that Sam Dando is sideboarding is like really tempting to play into. And so I'm trying this list out for today. This is my personal list. And then we're gonna try probably Sam Dando's list at the end of this week. Good luck to you, Mitch. I kind of want to play this and set up for a big second turn. So we can crank here. Yep. Play Lone Shark. And then, do I let them filter? Let's try it. Rude. I'm just gonna pass. Okay, really good setup here. They already have a yellow in yard. We're gonna give them Sunken Treasure here. We'll flip over the Codex to get a gold. Just set ourselves up really well for a late game. Bonds is pretty annoying. Bonds can't take this, but it can take a lot of copper cogs out of the deck. I think because this is 1, this is 2, they're probably 3. So if I go here and here, then they would get at most another +3. And I have to gamble on them not going above 4. Oh yeah, it already has go again from Slippy. Yeah, they just pass on it. Okay. So we definitely want to generate a cog. We'll crank it, and then we can Cogworks Workshop actually, pitching this to make our third. That way we don't have to break Unicycle this early. We'll go 1 and 1. Draw a new card. I think sending Aeronaut still is correct. So we'll send Aeronaut and just set up the Zeppelin for the next turn. We probably eat, yeah, either Perdition or Scalers. No point in floating. I don't think he's running D-Reacts into me. Okay. I'll just lose 2. So we've got in 60 reacts into this matchup. We've got Sink Below and Shelter from the Storm. So I'm going to try and play pretty intentionally towards Shelter here. We have a really good turn because we have Soup Up and Shelter, so we're blocking really effectively and setting up this Cogwork Zeppelin for Honestly, a really good turn cycle where we can utilize the golden cog and copper cog staying around. I think this is probably... Just pump it to 4. Okay. So it is Justinic. Should I shelter? I don't think so. I don't think it's that powerful. Man, that sucks. That sucks really bad. We're looking at infects. I think we could pretty safely just put like tip in front of it. Tip into the late game isn't like the greatest. I like keeping Cloud City Steamboat into the deck here. Do we... It's not worth drawing, but we can create a third cog here. And that way we're pushing him to block 8. I'm not going to crank this one. And then that way we've got one into the next turn. We've got some good galvanized targets right now. This is a pretty solid hand, actually. So we're upstixing a Kiss of Death. That's pretty unfortunate. So we can block 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on this. 6. Man. If I had kept Unicycle back, that would have been really good. I could also block Cog in the Machine, because I don't really need it for this next turn cycle. Go like Cog and then this, and then the next card I can block for 4. Or I block what's face up right now. Let's do that. Let's block what's face up right now. And then we can still send CNC. He's going to be able to flick here. He's got CNC. So we are just going to cycle our arsenal. And we are like hella rewarded for it. Okay, so we're just going to send a huge CNC. Yeah. I don't know if we wager, though. Because how many gold do we have? We have 1. Yeah, I'll wager. If they want a gold, then they can give me 3 cards, but I think that that's a lot to commit here. Leave no. I'm going to have 1 cog on the next turn. I can Tinkerings here. If I Tinkerings here, then I have 2 for the following turn, and I can also poly. I think this next turn's poly turn. Okay, we flip a blue. So we'll crank here. We'll crank here. Do I want to crank? Yep. See what our random draw is. Cog in the Machine's pretty solid here. Probably better arsenaled for the following turn. So we can go, because we're still on 1 action point, we could play tip. I actually like that. Play tip, play Cogworks. Yeah, play tip. Play Cogworks, pitch this, and then keep this for Cog of the Machine on the following turn cycle. If they put a 3 down and then don't block anything else, I'm a lot more hesitant to pump it to 7. I probably just say go again. Okay. I think if they get me on an outplay here, I'd be really impressed. But I do have Unicycle to back me up. Okay. So on hit, we will tap, give it go again. We came over for 1, and then now we CNC. We see if we can take the last 2 cards. He's been protecting his arsenal pretty heavily, so... He just goes, "You're kidding." Yeah. It's like, I'm double CNCing you. You're just gonna have to give me it eventually. Yeah, because a CNC for 9 into a CNC for 6 with the little bit of extra damage on the front was super good. I'm saying I know it's Tarantula Toxin because that's always whenever I'm playing a Slippy, it's always Tarantula Toxin in Arsenal, and they just protect it like fucking crazy. He's saying it's better than Tarantula Toxin. Wow. He's saying it's better than Tarantula Toxin and giving me a whole hand here. Okay, it's a Codex. I'm pretty fine with that. Man, I kind of do care about this card. Block with a Codex to save a Codex, yeah. So what I'm thinking is I have Gold Kiss. I don't have gold, which means that E-Strike draw card is like very valuable here. I could play this. Yeah. I kind of think I don't care. Yeah, I kind of think I don't care. Just because I have the Gold Kiss already. I think we just say yes. I know that this card technically sets up the Palantir really well, but he still just has snaps here. And he'll give me snaps way before he'll give me anything else. So what we're going to do first is we're going to poly. Yep. And then we're going to copper cog. We'll crank. Let's see what our random is. Okay, that's really good actually. So we can still draw a card. Do we still want to draw a card? Yeah, I do want to draw a card, right? Because this is to... No, because if I Cogworks Workshop here, I make a thing. How valuable is this? Because if I Cogworks Workshop here, I can eat the Scalers. And then I just save the Gold Kiss Rum for the following turn. I like Arsenal this card. Do I want to crank it? Yeah. And then we'll go 1 and 1. Now we have this cog staying around for 2 extra turns. I didn't even think about playing this is going to be difficult. So maybe I do... Do I still do draw a card then? No. I just go 7. No. Yeah, I think we value getting rid of Snapdragon Scalers like a lot here because they're on a 5-card hand and they just blocked out like really heavily. We've eaten all their codexes. Yeah, I'm gonna... Do I have a 3rd cog here? No, that's the rum. Last aeronaut. Is it the last aeronaut? Oh, you're saying the last time I played aeronaut. This is the last aeronaut, though. So I'm not going to get another opportunity to break Flick Knives. Yeah. So I think... This is still worth it to destroy the Scalers. And I know, yeah, we're definitely eating a D-React here, but we're still getting 2 damage through and eating the Scalers. So I think, like, turn cycle wise, I think that's still fine. And we actually, like, get bailed out pretty heavily here. Oh, he's just going to kill that. This is its hero. Okay. So we want to Sunken Treasure here. We'll flip over any yellow card, probably. How many... He has 2 Leave No Witnesses, so it's not worth flipping a Leave No Witness. So we just flip a Codex and get a gold. Man, who would have guessed that Tarantula Toxin was the card that he was holding? I love 0 for 6s. Got 2 cogs. Do I just make a 3rd? Or do I Gold Kiss on this turn? I think I Gold Kiss, because then I can just pump this to 8. And we just save the gold for the next turn. Right? Oh, no, I don't have enough to do it that way. But this does make it to where I don't have to tap the other one to be able to give it go again. So, still pretty effective use, because it'll be 7 into 7. still very good turn cycle, and we keep the gold. In fact, it's like mildly annoying here, but not the worst. I think I'm actually okay with just taking this, and I care more about what comes after kind of thing. Flick knives, okay. So he's changing this into like a bonds or something. If he bonds me here, I'm okay. I was gonna say, if he hits me with the bonds here, I'm like actually fucked. 8, okay. So let's see here. If I block this, I take 5. I go to 8. They don't draw because I'm not marked. But then I have to take 2. I'm able to pump that over just barely. Yeah, this is fine. We're definitely at the point of like we're kind of racing here. I think having 2 cogs is going to be important, so we're just going to crank right away. Make sure, I mean, soup up was life no matter what, but okay, so we bait out D-react. That's, I think, all 3. That's 2, okay. And then now this comes in and is presenting 8. You're late? No, you're fine. Can't do that. Man, this is a really awkward turn. So we're just gonna soup up into Zeppelin. I'm gonna put Sink Below here. That's fine. We're gonna Spring Tunic. I do still want to send 6 here. I just need to threaten life total as much as I can. Try and keep cards out of their hand. Okay, so we kept a good turn cycle here. We have a tip that we can play pretty safely. You're abusing a poor Gravy. I'm sure that Gravy did nothing wrong. You were just bullying him. I don't want to wager. Giving them a gold here is actually like really bad. Because I'm gonna give them too much giving them a gold. And we know there's still one. Oh no, that was the last shelter on the last turn. But at least I'm still setting up a rum, sending a 2-card 7. Or I guess 3-card because I had to pitch. It's kind of bad rate, but don't really like Loan Shark in the position we're in right now. So probably would be the first card I block with here. Man, this would be nice to have one of my shelters. Up sticks. Well, I'm not marked. I kind of want to sync my other sync almost, but I'm kind of torn. Didn't realize I was streaming. Yeah, I was gone for a little bit. Oh, I forget that card has fucking piercing. So irritating. I think we actually cycle the Ripple away then. Okay. Actually not terribly punished here. Although I do wish we were on a Tunic turn. Because I want to keep this sync. We don't have a cog to even shoot with. Ripple and Puffin is spiced. I have my list posted. Yeah, if you do ! Deck list, it is linked there. And it's also one Ripple away. Or deck, yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm anticipating that I'm probably going to get blown out, because how many Tarantula Toxins has he played? Probably one. Yeah, so this is probably Tarantula Toxin that's about to fucking kill me. So do I just overcommit? I can't play this card anyways. Imagine if I had Snag. Man, sometimes I think about it, but then other times, man, I see hands like this, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Wait, why is he at 11 here? It's 3. I blocked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, never mind, sorry, I'm reading this wrong. Cut down to 1 Loan Shark. I mean, honestly, I like Loan Shark at 3. The only issue is, like, turn cycles that we're running into right now, where Loan Shark feels pretty bad. Just, yeah. You're gonna eat your go again from Slippy. I've seen a couple lists that are running 2, and I'm contemplating whether or not I would want to do something like that. I'm actually going to block here and eat the rum. I hate 0 for 6s. This card's fucking stupid. This card should not exist. Because it's like, I still die now. Because this just has to be anything. That just doesn't matter. Yeah, 0 for 6s are just annoying. But I can't do anything about it. I'm just going to have to play into 0 for 6s. I will say so far, I mean, granted, we didn't get to play the Strike Gold in that matchup, but I feel like it's still, like, the deck, sorry, I created another private game. I feel like the deck overall isn't feeling too bad. There's definitely spots where I think things can be improved, and I kind of wanted to look at Sam Dando's list that they posted on MinMax Games. MinMax Games. You might hear it for a second here. So inset. I like going first, but also, yeah, no, I want to go first. And Vinset's kind of a tricky one. I don't know that I have stuff set up for them. So in Vinset, they make auras, not items. They do play a little attack heavy. So maybe I just go D-Reacts. They don't have that great of... I mean, they do have semi-decent blocks. I think we'll do that. Mitch was the assassin player. Yo. Thanks for the sub. I appreciate that. By the way, let's actually start a prediction. I appreciate it. Oh, and it was your Prime sub. I appreciate that a lot, actually. Thank you very much. Sent the current list. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I could take a look at it. I think I just go 7 here. Okay. Hopefully that opens up. No, it opened up on the wrong tab. Pull this over here. For some reason, in my brain, Drew, I'm not gonna lie, for some reason in my brain, it didn't connect to me that, you're that Drew. my brain didn't connect it for a second. Felt like after I blocked you Zeppelin, you lost tempo completely. Which one? The first one? I'm of the opinion that no hero should have a 0 for 6, the second one. And, yeah. And so, I think the fact that you have a 0 for 6 just in your deck just irritates me. I'll be honest. We don't need a second action point here, so we'll crank one and then not crank the other. We're not going to put them under. Tilted me too much? Yeah, exactly. 0 for 6 at reaction speed. 0 for 6 at reaction speed is even more annoying. Especially because it's just like I have to pay 2 for a 4, and that's even then that's not the greatest, right? I mean, am I ever going to draw 2 cards in a turn? Possibly. Yeah, Drew, I did not even make that connection at all for a second there. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wait, why does this username look so familiar? And then I looked at our DMs and I was like, oh, duh. Mitch is a good player and been on Assassin forever. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm playing into somebody who is, like, arguably a very, very strong Assassin player, too. I like double cranking, keeping the copper cog here. for my arsenal. I'm gonna double crank, draw a card. Yeah, I'll put it on bottom. Man, that's crazy good. So we can E-Strike, draw a card. Or do I even care to E-Strike, draw a card? Like, I just have a huge turn here, right? I just don't have to give this go again, so this can just be 8. I kind of like keeping this one. Was the deck all foil? What do you mean? Their assassin deck? I have 2 action points. Yeah, so I just want to go +3. Okay. And then I think what's better here? I could keep a cog around, send 6 here, keep this in arsenal. Or actually, what I could do here is I could do this for go again. Yo, thanks for the YouTube sub. I appreciate it. It's even weirder now that I realize who I'm talking to, because I've had that happen multiple times now, that people come in that like actually know me in real life, and I'm like, wait, like this is it's funky how this works. Wait, hold up. I guess it doesn't matter. We want to put a counter on the copper cog. We've just had a crazy pop-off turn, and our opponent's just kind of chilling back, doing a whole lot of nothing. But they are setting up probably the widest turn imaginable, so we just need to be a little careful here. Beseech, +3. What was Beseech targeting? Does it not say? Okay. I know this isn't technically a it isn't technically a bug, but I would really appreciate it if they put something there. Sure. This is the one from hand, right? So I can't prevent this one. Let's just skip all of them, actually. They need to do a lot here to be able to, like, really kill me. So I'm assuming this is the thing that they chose with Beseech. Yeah. Give him a unicycle. Take 8. Tunic, creeper in something, right? Eloquence. Eloquence on the coal. Does that work that way? I'm gonna mute for a second so she can take this phone call. Okay. Yeah, so they had a really weird setup there that I'm not really sure why they set up their banish zone so heavily. It could just be that they were like banking on, yeah, it could be that they were banking on like shadow puppetry and some other stuff, but they blocked with one, I think, like turn one. So if you're trying to set up for that, I think that's like, you kind of missed your opportunity to set that up turn one. Should have just kept the shadow puppetry. So let's see here. I need to go full screen. Okay. So this is Drew's Puffin list. Drew is an extension of IRL friend. He's I'm not going to dox you where you live, but we've played together in person, and I actually ran into him a few days ago, like a week ago. Yeah, he's an IRL friend, but through multiple channels of different people we ended up meeting, and we actually ran into each other at the airport the other day while I was on my while I was traveling for work. So he actually showed me this list. It looks a little bit different than what he showed me when we were at the airport. I do like this, and I'm thinking about adding this back in, but I'm also struggling with figuring out how to fit it in. It looks like he's got it in the head slot, which I'm gonna enlighten you. I know there's a delay on YouTube, but I've seen people playing this card in Puffin. Like, unironically, people are playing this card in Puffin. And the reason why, I know, yeah. So, like, Crown of Providence is really good, Crown of Dominion's really strong, and there's, like, arguments to be made for, like, each side. But Crown of Providence, more specifically when you're playing into Mitch's favorite deck, which is Assassin, is really, really good, right? Like, Crown of Providence into Assassin, phenomenal. And, like, you really want that into those, like, really, really disruptive, when they're trying to attack your arsenal really often. You want Crown of Providence for those matchups. Now, with that being said, I've seen some people suggesting to try Bunker Beard, like really, really recently. This is like a very, very recent thing that people have been talking about. But think about how many actions you have in your deck versus blocking cards. I know that a lot of people are going down to 3 now, which does help. But what's really cool is if you are intentionally arsenaling your galvanized cards, especially Golden Skywarden, you can play Bunker Beard, and then Bunker Beard triggers your galvanize when you destroy it. So you play this card in your head slot, and then you play it in conjunction with this card, which I don't like this card, but I'm saying that, like, this helps make this card a little bit more playable. And so you have this, and you also have your soup ups. And so if you're intentionally arsenaling your galvanized cards, or at least you can play more intentionally towards arsenaling your galvanized cards if you have Bunker Beard, right? Otherwise, Bunker Beard is almost what this is. It's almost exactly what this is. Because realistically, I mean, Bunker Beard's a block 0, right? But in most cases, you're going to have an action, or you've got like an item or something that you're kind of trying to set up, like a cog maybe. Obviously, it's a little bit less effective in that, but I've seen people suggesting this, and I kind of like it. I kind of like the idea of it. It doesn't actually seem too bad, and so I think there might be something there. So that's just first thing, just straight out the gate, because I see you're on 9 Galvanize. I'm not on 9 Galvanize. Art of War for the same effect. Man, I wish Art of War was good and playable. So like on my list, just to give a quick comparison, I'm only on the 6 Galvanize here, but I'm really wanting to swap up this list like quite a bit. We'll look at Dando's list just as another comparison in a little bit here. But I've been leaning more towards upping my copper cog count. I think the right number is 6. And Dando really sold me on 6 in his video when he was talking about like why you're playing a specific amount of copper cogs. And what he does, and I think this is really clever, is he sideboards 2, and then whenever you're in matchups where you intentionally want to bring in cards like Conqueror the High Seas, which are a little bit more high cost, then you bring in those extra 2 cogs. Otherwise, you're keeping them mostly out because you want to be a little bit lower to the ground. I think with your setup, because you're a little higher costed, just in general, so like you've got the backup protocols, obviously, so this is a 2 cost, in my opinion, this is a 2 cost. You've got 3 more Zeppelins here, you've got Goldwing Turbine, which is another 2 cost, so you're already like slightly higher curve needed instantly with this setup here at the beginning of the deck. Then you're looking at, is this all, okay, this is all main board. So you're also looking at Jolly Bludger, you're looking at Battalion Bark, these are also, you know, really high cost, this is very high cost. So your cost curve is like significantly higher than mine. Let's see if I go to your stats here. So like your cost curve here, you can see you have a decent amount of 0s, a few 1s, but 20 2s, and then 9 4s. So you're basically half of your deck is 2 cost or above. But this also isn't counting the 2 backup protocols, which are technically 2 cost if you really want to get into it. So you're basically on 31 2 costs. So I would expect you to be on way more blues than you actually are. I know you're on 10 yellows, but I'm wondering how effective, like, let's say Jolly Bludger is, right? I understand. Have you tried Grenades or Rainbow Turbines? Grenade is really good in Boost, not so great in this version because all of your damage is face up, right? So like Boost, you're gonna go a little bit wider, but in this deck, most of your damage is face up with the exception of Pummel. So your opponent knows exactly what they're blocking the moment you play a grenade. Versus in Boost, they have to gauge like how wide are you gonna go. This one is just how tall are you gonna go, and most of it is on board. So playing into grenades is a little bit easier versus this kind of deck. If you're going a lot wider, you're going into like a boost Puffin, then I definitely think you want to lean more towards a Boom Grenade as like a secondary option for you. But I would be very interested to know how effective, specifically Jolly Bludger, I think, is in this list. I feel like this card has underperformed for me overall. I haven't had a ton of testing into like gravies, which is pretty unfortunate because I've been wanting to test more into gravies, but that's besides the point. I would be very interested to know how effective this card is and how often it is a 2 for 8, right? Or if it's just mostly like a 2 for 5 that you give overpower every once in a while to see if it gets you something. I played into a local who's playing Marlin, and they are like really gold generation heavy. This card slaps against a deck that's like generating a lot of gold, especially into Marlin, because most of their cards are actions. So overpower on this card is just, I'm stealing everything you've worked for in the last couple turns. But I'd be interested to know how effective this card is. I'm just trying to think blue-wise. Blue-wise, let me look at Dando's list and my list. I don't think you're playing towards Barkeep, because you don't have E-Strike. Yeah, you don't have E-Strike. So Barkeep, now you have E-Strike in the side. I don't think you can run Tip here. I think if you're looking for an attack, I think, and I know a lot of people have been kind of low on this card because they think that the effectiveness isn't as strong. I think this card's actually really good in the blue slot. I would almost question whether or not you would want to run Cloud City Steamboat in blue over the Jolly Bludger. This card is, first of all, it's a 2 for 6 at blue at its best, right? It's also pummelable, which is important for a deck list like yours because you have 2 pummels in there, right? It's also a mech card, so you can play it with the red turbines as well. Blue turbines don't give you really enough, in my opinion. If you value the cog, so it depends on how you value a cog, right? So typically, the way I value a cog is a cog is worth 2, right? Because it's half a card, right? So if you have 2 points from your cog, then you're getting +1 from the turbine, right? The blue turbine. You're getting 3 value. So you're paying 2 to get 3 value, which feels pretty bad because just a good example would be like this card, right? I'm paying 2 and I'm getting 4 as my minimum value, right? So my floor on Cloud City Steamboat versus like a blue turbine is higher. Just naturally it's higher, right? And with Steamboat has a much higher ceiling than something like a blue turbine would. Because the blue turbine, I mean, realistically, you're getting the 2, so you get the 2 value off the cog, right? You get the +1 onto a mech attack specifically. So if you're not playing all mech attacks, you can run into a little bit of an issue there. So let me actually look at his list here. Are there any? So like it misses on Conqueror. Talking more specifically to blue turbine, not red turbine. Misses on Conqueror, misses on Battalion Bark. That's it. So you don't have a whole lot of misses for blue turbine here, and at worst you throw it into Spitfire, right? I still don't feel like it's a lot of value there, though. I still feel like it's pretty bad value overall. So I would think you should up your blue count just slightly. I think taking this and turning it into Cloud City Steamboat might be a really solid spot, and then maybe taking these and like tossing them in the side. I don't know how effective this is, just as an example. When I did actually get testing into Gravy Bones, this card was crazy good. Like, really, really good into Gravy. So if you're playing this with the intention of playing it into Gravy, then I would say, yeah, keep this here. I think that's really solid. This is also really good into Gravy, and I'm going to assume you're probably bringing it in there, because you're on 60, right? Yeah. So for extra go-agains, being able to clear stuff, also being able to throw like 7 into a Whaler for 2 cards, really effective. So I could see what you're doing here. That makes sense. The things that I'm more curious about, and this is just me not really understanding, is what's going on with Dissolving Shield here, and specifically to Oasis Respite. I feel like if you're playing towards Tunic and you're playing towards like, gosh, what would you be playing Oasis into? Like Kano or Verdance or Acilio. Are you wanting Dissolving Shield specifically because it's like your AB4? And then are you also trying to like play this into those same matchups? Like I'm just trying to understand where Dissolving Shield is coming in. It's possible that you're bringing this in for decks like Assassin, but I think that if you're playing into Slippy, this card's less effective. If you're playing into a deck like Syndra, maybe, and you're trying to like hit breakpoint blocks, I could see this being really solid. So like if you're playing into a lot of Syndra, I could see maybe running 1 or 2 of this. For Lightning Wizard, you wouldn't run Oasis. Yeah, that's fair. You probably just want like D-Reacts, right? You probably just want like Shelters and Sinks. Because you're most of the time he's just gonna nuke you from orbit, like no matter what. So maybe just having the D-reacts is just as effective. But if you're running into like Kano and Verdance, I can see this. I can understand it. I'm just kind of curious why one Dissolving Shield. I also have a local Gravy, Prism, and Kano. So this is a popper. I would assume a seven popper. Okay. So this is Kano. This is Gravy. This is Prism. I'm wondering if there's an effective other 7 that you can run. Be power 7 equal or greater. Because like you're already running this in your main. And Verdance. I passed it. I'm trying to think of like what other 7s you could reasonably run in the sideboard, or is Infused Titanium the like most effective popper there? I wonder if this is a better popper. Also has Galvanize if needed. Because are you just bringing it into Prism? Like, is that the only time you're bringing in that card? Oh, you're saying that Battalion, or not Battalion, what the fuck is it called? Battlefront Bastion. You're saying this card's better. I don't know how I feel about Bastion, Battlefront Bastion. I don't know how I feel about it. I thought I had a cool one sitting right here. I actually traded Tater for that. But I don't know where it is. It might be sitting in a deck. I swear I had it over here somewhere. Can get it with backup. Okay. Okay. You're selling me more on it. I understand now. You can get it with backup protocol. That does make it more effective. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it then. I think if you weren't on backup protocol, I think I would not be playing this though. I think I'd be playing Pilfer, or I'd be playing Battlefront Bastion. Pilfer seems pretty good because it's like also playable and like randomly it's got relevant text. You messed around with the yellow backup. Yeah, I think the list that you showed me when we were at the airport had yellow backup in it. I think you had 2 yellow backups in that one. What about Blanche? So, I don't know. It like half has text, right? But there's no other deck that really cares. I mean, I guess maybe Gravy cares about this, right? Because it turns off Watery Grave. So like you're hitting that same matchup, or you're hitting a similar matchup. But look at how many cards are already dedicated to Gravy here. You already have 5 here in the sideboard just for Gravy. At least that's the impression that I've got. And then you also have another 3 in the main board that are really like Gravy focused. And then also these that are also pretty Gravy focused. So I don't know if I feel like Blanche is worth the spot over this like pseudo combo in a way, because being able to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna play this backup protocol, draw a card, most likely, you know, maybe you use it on a turn where you're getting your double crank, right, and then you're able to pick this back up in blocks and just toss it out in front. I think that seems really good. Yeah. I think if you weren't on this card, I would assess things completely differently though. But this makes sense with the backups. I do like this to 2. I think that my flex slot that this is in would also encroach on this spot as well because I don't play riches. But I understand why you play riches. Like, your gold generation compared to what I'm doing is like just slightly less. But I think it's not bad. Like, this still feels pretty good. And if you have it, you might as well play it, right? I actually don't own this card. But I think this flex slot, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe the deck needs Pummel, but I don't know if it needs it in the main. Maybe this is like conditional, you bring it in. Like, I feel like this card you conditionally bring in, this card you conditionally bring in, this card you conditionally bring in, and then like the rest of the deck looks pretty normal. I don't think there's any other stuff that I would change besides, like I said, maybe I would run 3 more blues here over Bludger and try and move Bludger to the sideboard if you feel like it's doing enough. If you feel like it's not doing enough, which is kind of the case that I'm in right now with Bludger, I would probably up 1 here, and then I would take those other 2 slots and just convert them to the Cloud City Steamboats. Just up your blue count just slightly, gives you a little bit more consistency and gives you the ability to like actually pitch for 3 and gives you better chances to hit High Tide. Which I realize that Overpower and +1 isn't like crazy, but sending 7 into a gravy that maybe can't block effectively, really doesn't want to give up like their armor pieces, this could be pretty good, especially if you cycle it properly. Like, if you cycle this to like mid-late game and you're burning through your deck fast enough, I could see this being like really effective with a few more blues, because you're turning on your High Tide a lot more effectively, and like this has High Tide and this has High Tide, so seeing more blues probably get a little bit more effective there. I would also maybe, this is maybe pushing it, I don't know if you're trying to keep like a specific count of everything, if you like adamant about 3 ofs, I would maybe cut this to 2 and then put in the 3rd Cloud City Steamboat if you wanted to make that change. But I'm just kind of, I'm not really feeling it with Jolly Bludger lately, and it could just be me, it could just be that I'm not like getting effective use out of it, but it could be solid for you. But I think that's pretty much everything I've got on your list here. Otherwise, I like it, and I see the vision here, and I understand now why you're doing these. This still doesn't make sense to me. I think if you're trying to target Kano, I would just play a 3rd Oasis. Unless this is for Syndra, like I was saying before, if this is for Syndra, then I understand playing it. But if it's not for Syndra, then I would just play a 3rd Oasis. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think on this guy. AB3 Spell Void 3. Not everybody can be as lucky as Assassin players. So looking at this list, this is the list I was testing today. I think this card, as effective as it can be, probably gets cut. I think it's mostly just fine. I'm not huge on it, but I have seen a list that's kind of been floating around. Kind of weird just for Syndra. Okay. It makes sense. I'm just kind of curious why specifically just 1. If you're wanting to go more heavily into Syndra, I just realized there's no chat on this screen. Give me 1 sec. this the chat box? Can I copy this? Yeah. There we go. I'll put you guys just right below me here. So, yeah. So I think if you want to play, if you're playing more into Syndra's, I could see maybe upping this to 2, but you're also kind of like, you're struggling on sideboard space, which is exactly what I've been struggling on as well. And you do the same thing I do, where you just fucking shove everything, everything in the maybe board. Okay, I'm not gonna bother looking through the maybe board. So I have some ideas for changes to this list. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this back to Pummel. We're gonna cut one of these because I feel like you don't bring this in a lot of matchups. You do in some, but not all. I'm going to keep most of this the same, with the exception of probably upping this to 6. Right now it's at 5. And then just dropping the Ripple away, the 1 of Ripple away, just changing that up there. Tip and Sunken are going to stay the same. Then sideboard wise, I think I want to change this. I'm trying to figure out what I want to change it to. This felt fine. I want to test a little bit more with what this slot could be. And I'm keeping this, I think, the same. I like this 6D reacts, and I like performance bonus. I do want to toy around with numbers similar to Sam Dando's list. So we can look at his list very quickly, because, excuse me, I got the hiccups there for a second. We're going to look at this list really fast because I do need to go and start dinner here in a second. But, so Dando's on Crown of Dominion. I do and I don't like this card. I think if I can find an extra sideboard slot, this is probably where I would go to, for at least an equipment piece. He's also running Providence in the sideboard. He also said he didn't like this, but we'll talk more about that in a second. So you can see his main board is like decently close to what I'm already playing. Some major differences here is he's playing Cloud Skiff as an extender, instead of like E-Strike. He's playing Cloud Skiff main. Then he's got Battalion Bark. I'm indifferent about Battalion Bark only because I feel like it's hard to cycle into it well, especially in late game. Sometimes your hands just don't line up to where you can play a 4 super effectively. So typically it's just like a 4 for 5. On the turns where it does line up and you have a big hand, obviously you can play it really effectively, but you're also betting on a hand being very blue heavy in a deck that like still has basically half the deck is red. You know, we're at 24 reds here, 25 blues. This is before you sideboard in multiple cards because he's only on 51 here. So I can see where he's at with this, but I'm also a little hesitant with it. Workshop Cogs, he's on 3 Sunken Treasures, which I think is arguably correct. I don't like Steel Street Hoons. This card is weird because he's playing pirate cards and CNC, and he's got E-Strike in the sideboard and Conqueror. I think this card should be just, what's the one we were just looking at here? It should just be this card, but blue. It should just be this card. It should be Infused Titanium, but blue. You don't boost this card very frequently. Seafloor Salvage I can see an argument for. If you're not playing towards Tip, I would probably be playing this card. I like playing Tip though. I feel like I get a lot of value off of Tip. His sideboard, he has the Pummels, he's got the E-Strikes, he's got Conqueror, he's got the similar setup on D-Reacts, but he's running 1 less of each, he's only running 4. He's got Sky Wardens. He said that he really likes Sky Warden, but you know that I'm pretty hesitant. I don't really like Sky Warden a whole lot. I would need to test significantly more to know whether or not Sky Warden's actually good or not. And then he's on 2 Bludgers. Sorry, can't really see it. 2 Bludgers here, and then 2 Cogs in the sideboard. And the Cogs come in conditionally whether or not he's bringing in some of these heavier costed cards here, which I think is pretty smart to play it that way. I think I'm going to kind of take a little bit of this and try and work with it and see what we can come up with for Friday stream, and then I'll post a new deck list on Discord and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, nice. That's gonna be it for today. I appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out. I appreciate the sub earlier. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have pack redeem still on. I know that oh, you know what? I didn't do the pack redeem on the last game that I did actually win. That was the Vincent game, right? Oh, that's too low on the screen. Twitch alert. Boop. Okay. Mitch, what pack do you want? I've got heavy hitters and high seas. And I actually am looking for cards out of heavy hitters now because of the new set. Let's see here. Okay. I want to chart the seas. Okay. This box has just been sitting on my desk. We're hoping for some good stuff. Also, this is improved camera quality so that hopefully you guys can actually see the cards way better, because I know that it has been bad quality on whether or not you guys can actually see stuff. So we got a Headshot Blue, Sky Skimmer Red, Yellow Restless Bones, still doesn't want to focus on the card, Calling the Big Guns Red, Goldwing Turbine Yellow, Trade in Yellow, Thieving Varmints, Sirens of Safe Harbor Yellow, Mutiny on Battalion Bark, Rust Belt, Washed Up Wave, Redfin Harpoon, and a Bluefin Harpoon. So really good Ranger pack. Drawback the Hammer is our foil, and then nothing on the end. If you want my, you always ask for pack 1, pick 1. I think my pack 1, pick 1 here, I'm honestly, just because, put the tokens aside. I'm thinking I go straight into Ranger, and I'm taking probably one of these two. Probably Bluefin. Bluefin seems pretty good. I think I early pick Ranger in this pack, because I'm not really impressed with the generic slot, the equipment slot, or the Pirates cards. Because Mutiny on the Battalion Bark is the +2 one. It's kind of okay. I would much rather have the Go Again one. Thieving Varmints, just kind of fine. Trade in at yellow is a little weird. Sirens is probably like the best generic, in my opinion, that we got. Generic / pirate card. But I think I'd probably go Bluefin Harpoon. Bluefin Harpoon seems pretty solid. But anyways, thank you for the pack redeem. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to go get started on my dinner. And I will be back, and we'll be doing stream again on Friday. If you are not in the Discord, you can join the Discord in the description of the YouTube video. It should be in there. You can also join from the link that is about to be posted into the Twitch chat on this side. Yeah, that one right there. That one right there. But we just hang out, we talk about decks, I'll post my deck lists and stuff in there. If you guys have questions, we can always chit-chat and talk about, what the meta looks like and what different stuff we want to do. Kitty wants to... Oh no, she's just laying down. Hi. Thought she was going to come out and say hi while we were ending. But no, she's just getting lazy in the sun. Alrighty. Thanks for joining in, guys. I appreciate it, and I will be doing stream probably at 2:50, 3 o'clock on Friday. That's Mountain Time, US. So, thanks for joining in. Appreciate it, and I will catch you guys on Friday. Peace.